What's up, optimizers? We are looking at a very cheap and effective stack, a nootropic stack that is going to help boost your cognitive performance, give you better word recall, boost your mood, and leave you overall more productive. And that is L-Theanine and Caffeine. Now, typically I would take just the L-Theanine capsule, 200 milligrams, with this is a 200 milligram tablet of Jet Alert, very cheap. Here in Texas, there's a grocery store called H-E-B. It is everywhere, it is cheap. So I get this for like $4 for a bottle of 90 caplets. And I just break this in half for 100 milligrams. 100 milligrams of caffeine, 200 milligrams of L-Theanine. That's the ratio you want to do it, 2 to 1. 2 L-Theanine to 1 caffeine. So if you have 200 milligrams L-Theanine, 100 milligrams of caffeine. So typically I would take those together. It's quick and easy. I just pop it in my mouth and then we're ready to go. However, if I want to spend a little bit extra time, and I don't like to drink coffee all the time, sometimes I kind of alternate between taking a caffeine in, manufactured form, just a pill, and caffeine. It's really weird. It usually, over time, I kind of adapt to one, and then if I switch to the other, then it's a little bit more effective. So I just kind of alternate between the two. And then, so I like to use this particular thing that's kind of is a stack on top of the L-Theanine and caffeine. And not only, we're getting the caffeine from the coffee, but also we're gonna add some components. We're gonna add some fats. We're gonna add coconut oil, and then we're going to add butter, unsalted butter. Do not make the mistake of doing salted butter. Now, this is Kerrygold butter. This is from grass-fed cows from Ireland. Now, if you want to do the research, I believe it's that some people came down on Kerrygold and were very disappointed to learn that maybe it's like 90% of their cows are actually grass-fed. So, I mean, maybe it's not 100%, but it's not enough. Now, what are some of the benefits of this? So, with this grass-fed butter, there's a higher amount of vitamin K. You're also getting more butyric acid, which helps as a prebiotic to feed the good microbes in your gut, to have a good gut microbiome. And then source of good fats. Now, the coconut oil, these have medium chain triglycerides that's going to help you in ketosis, give you some good brain power. And then both of these good fats are going to help increase your testosterone. So if you're a guy, I started doing what this is also kind of called Bulletproof coffee. I started doing that maybe 3 years ago, and I just did it every day for a long time. And I noticed a huge bump in my testosterone. I did get some pimples on the back of my back though. My skin was a lot more, it was kind of glowing. It wasn't quite greasy per se. It wasn't greasy, but it was like glowing. There was just kind of more of a vibrant and glowing type of texture to it. So on top of that, it just did an amazing job at making me feel, it kind of sustained the caffeine high. I didn't feel as jittery, and then I also had a longer period of time that I could have the enhanced cognitive benefits. So that was pretty awesome. So if you don't know, L-Theanine is this amazing nootropic in and of itself, but when you put it together with caffeine, it has a synergistic effect. They work together. They're greater together than the sum of their parts. So what we're doing now is we're adding kind of the additive, which is also adding into this synergy, are these healthy fats, and making, I call it fat intake therapy. I did a video on that a while ago. You can check that in the upper right hand corner. There should be a video card that pops out there. And I did a little video with my friend Rob about Bulletproof coffee, or fat intake therapy coffee, as I call it, fit coffee. Now, we're gonna show you, I want to kind of give you a little plug for one of my favorite ways to make coffee. I've made coffee in a lot of different ways. French press, the people's fancy coffee makers, anything from cheap KitchenAid to like Ninjas and fancy French espresso machines and all that stuff. But there is this, for some purists, I found that they're like, this is cheap, this is effective, and it just gives a nice, pure cup of coffee. So if you're kind of a coffee snob and you want to have like the best brew possible, and have it be affordable, I would highly recommend this Aeropress. If you can kind of, well, that's not going to autofocus, but it says Aeropress. So what you do is, well, let me demonstrate. Oops. All right, guys, now I take my L-Theanine. We have our lovely coffee cup that my ex got me. And this is strangely very good. It has no sweeteners. It is pure fat and coffee, but it tastes creamy and delicious. You'll be surprised. Now, as I said, with the coffee and these fats, these healthy fats, it gives you kind of a sustained effect on the caffeine. So you kind of have a nice balanced buzz that lasts a longer period of time. Well, the L-Theanine kind of does that same thing. It kind of balances out the buzz of the caffeine and also gives it a nice sustained period, and it has its own effects as well. So it's going to be able to help you just have a better cognitive performance, as I had mentioned before. You'll have better word recall. You'll be able to kind of focus and hone in on what you want to do. You'll find that you'll have just kind of a little bit better of a mood, and you'll find that there's less resistance trying to do something. If you need to take care of the dishes or start some project, you'll notice that there's not as much resistance. You can kind of just get right into it, and it's like, oh, okay. That wasn't as hard to start. For me, sometimes it's hard to get started, but once I'm started, I'm fine. But that initial resistance, so that helps with that too. So I hope you enjoyed this video, this nootropic stack with coffee. Very powerful. You got basic 4 things here. You got the caffeine from the coffee itself, the compounds inside the coffee. We'll consider that too, okay? Then we got the L-Theanine, then we got the coconut oil, then we have the grass-fed, unsalted butter. So all those 5 things are working together and creating an amazing thing. Now you can take this first thing in the morning as well, kind of as a replacement for breakfast. This is quite a bit of calories, so if you need to reduce your overall calories in the day, be mindful that this is extra calories. The calories that I'm taking in right now with this, probably about 400 to 600 calories. So that's not insignificant, but you can kind of, depending on your body, you can kind of use this as a substitute for breakfast and still kind of stay in a fasting state. Now, some people won't stay in a fasting state, but all fats, typically you have a better chance of staying in a fasted state, and intermittent fasting has these amazing abilities: autophagy, cellular cleanup, optimizing your insulin sensitivity, and all these different metabolic components. So we'll finish with that, but try this out. Tell me what you think. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your comments down in the comments below. And until next time, take care and to your health. It actually is really good.